I'm Jassim Isa, CEO and founder of Adira, an e-commerce business that sold over $100 million. With over 30,000 SKUs to manage, keeping our operations smooth and efficient isn't easy, but we've built a streamlined system that makes it possible. In today's video, I'll break down the 5 concepts we use to handle the scale, from the tools we rely on to our lean processes and the core strategies that keep us efficient and competitive and operational, of course. I'm going to walk you through the 5 primary concepts we use to manage over 30,000 plus SKUs in our e-commerce business. Handling this volume of inventory isn't simple for us. It's a constant balancing act of automation, accuracy, efficiency, kind of like a push and pull. But with the right tools and streamlined processes, we've built an approach that works for us. I'll dive into the core concepts that make it possible, with to share the biggest challenges we face daily and explain them simply. Tools and methods that allow us to scale without chaos. So if you're looking to streamline your inventory management or just want to see how a high SKU business is run, this video is for you. Wherever you are on your e-commerce journey, this video will help. This video will give you our takes into how we manage 30,000 plus SKUs. Stick around, and point 5 will actually walk through an important lesson that costs tens of thousands of dollars, unfortunately, but I'll share it with you guys so hopefully you don't have to run into it. So the first thing and the primary thing I wanted to, that's a big deal for us, is to automate and do things in bulk whenever possible. Managing high SKU counts is nearly impossible, and manually is nearly impossible. So we prioritize automation to streamline repetitive tasks and improve accuracy, of course. Our guiding principle is simple. If a task needs to be done more than once a month, it should have a standard operating procedure, an SOP obviously, and be considered for bulk processing or automation. So it's kind of flagged, and we see how we can bulk do this or do it in automation. While setting up the initial process for automation takes time and effort, the long-term payoff is definitely significant. Once established, these systems usually run smoothly. Obviously, there's ups and downs, needing occasional checks to ensure they're performing as intended. For instance, our pricing automation program required over 100 hours to set up, and several even courses that we had to buy, but now it saves hundreds of hours of workloads per month and operates pretty well. How we automate, the main things we do is obviously software. We leverage automation software that handles tasks such as inventory updates, Amazon advertising, order tracking, and even our pricing, of course. If you want to learn more about our pricing program, you can watch the video in the link. I did a full series on different pricing programs, what we also factor in when choosing our pricing program on that one specifically because it's such a big deal. Bulk processes with SOPs is the second way we use to automate. So by establishing SOPs, we ensure consistency and efficiency into our workflows. Bulk processes allow us to apply actions across multiple SKUs without obviously overlooking each one like manually. And just one example is our aging inventory pricing for old inventory that's 6 or 9 plus months old. Previously, we had someone manually review and adjust prices weekly for this type of inventory, which was extremely time consuming, with still thousands of SKUs that reached that level. We developed a formula that automatically reduces prices based on their inventory age. Now we download the aging inventory data, apply the formula, and re-upload it with updated prices. And using that logic, eliminating obviously the need for weekly oversight, manually overseeing it almost reduced the full-time employee. We were able to move them to a different section, to a growing section, and we still got approximately the same type of results. And then the second thing that we do is we track at scale using metrics and data. So instead of manually tracking SKU, we rely on aggregate metrics, so combined to monitor performance at scale. It became nearly impossible for us to monitor SKUs manually at around the 100 SKU range. So this is why we focus on KPIs, metrics, and looking at data in an aggregated manner became crucial for us to still keep track of how things are going. We didn't want to be left in the dark. So that's how we look at it. A few of the key ones that we track, one of them, the first one is gross ROI and margin. Obviously, we're looking at that on a weekly basis, how the SKU is performing, and a breakdown. Long inventory term storage, inventory that's 6 plus months. What percentage of our inventory is 6 plus months? Inventory turnover, so inventory that was sold this week over the average inventory and seeing how fast our sell-through rate is. Our in-stock rate, are we ideally we're over 99.5% in stock, where we're not running out of stock out of key stuff. We're reordering, we're consistently in stock for them, keeping us competitive. And then obviously our average cost of sale or total average cost of sale, cost and tacos, and seeing how that's performing. That's just some of the key ones. There's obviously many more, but those are the ones we're consistently checking. And what we do is when metrics fall below, like if we have a benchmark, we understand when if any metric is below that ideal benchmark, we start digging deep. We see where it's coming from. We try to identify the root cause. For example, like just the in-stock rate, it dropped lately from our benchmark, and then we dig deep. Where is that coming from? Which brand is it coming from? And then that revealed key issues for us. It was freight from China was delayed. AGL was being very slow, but also our 3PLs were also being slow, of which is AWD. It wasn't replenishing fast enough, and Amazon wasn't checking inventory fast enough. So that was why the in-stock rate was depleted. So we had to ship to other areas, and we addressed it that way. Obviously, we could have also seen this if we had someone manually reviewing each item and how much in stock was, but that's another way that we took that approach and make sure that overall things look right. And obviously using visualization tools, pivot tables, Excel, Power BI to help us visualize that data, and then we can press on it and VLOOKUP and go in depth a little bit more. So it was crucial for us to look at that and understand data at a very high level. The third one is lean inventory practices. This is also a big deal. And we wanted to maintain flexibility on our inventory, make sure that we're always looking at things. This is a very important concept, is being lean on it. So we consistently did SKU studies, stock optimization. We tried to be 3 months. We tried to have no more than 3 months of inventory. And we constantly push ourselves to reduce this. Like right now, it's approximately 13 weeks. We're trying to get down to 11 weeks to minimize the holding costs, minimize inventory availability, like inventory availability that we're paying storage on, with storage being really, really expensive, especially for using FBA or a lot of those other programs as well. So that's one thing that we're focusing on. We're also consistently doing SKU cuts and SKU counts based on profitability. A lot of SKUs aren't profitable, so we're cutting those. Just over the last year, we actually cut approximately 10,000 SKUs over that were no longer good for us. We're also looking at returns. Returns are crucial, especially us where we do a lot of shoes and clothes where returns can reach upwards of 20%. So we're pricing those very aggressively, even below our cost. We don't want to, there's so many SKUs that come in returns and that we're selling them below cost. We're also donating a lot of lower demand items that we no longer need or that can be used elsewhere, like at a higher value usage for us. By applying these lean inventory practices, we maintain a flexible and cost-efficient inventory strategy with our goals of operational efficiency and obviously profitability. Point number 4, prioritization and segmentation. Not every SKU is equal. This is like, if you take anything from this is the thing that you should take, is SKUs should be treated differently. To effectively manage a large and diverse catalog, we prioritize and segment our inventory, allowing us to focus resources on high impact areas while maintaining efficiency across lower priority SKUs, obviously ones that we're liquidating. Here's how we structure this approach. The first thing is we segment the inventory obviously by categories. We categorize the inventory based on type and priority. In our pricing program / inventory management system, we have different groups. Some of them, for instance, are seasonal products. These are grouped into their own category. These are ones that we have to prioritize very heavily if it's a Halloween item, or if it's for example, a holiday item, or if it's a summer item. If it's a summer item, we go in April and we make sure that they're priced competitively. A lot of prices have risen. We raise them to that price. We make sure that everything, the listing looks good. We're checking off all the boxes. We're prioritizing them. And then we're putting the winter items on the side because it's less contributional or less important than that one, that are more relevant at that time in April. We also we categorize them that way in our pricing programs, in our inventory management system. We also, like if items listed on numerous marketplaces, we categorize those differently. We look at them differently. We make sure inventory level accuracy is much more accurate because it's not just one marketplace. Brand specific SKUs, different brands may require unique handling. specialized marketing, inventory strategies based on contractual obligations or strategic investments, where it's a new launch SKU, it's in a different category and it's reviewed differently than basic other stuff. The Pareto principle is a huge one. The 80-20 rule, we recognize that roughly 20% of our SKUs drive 80% of the revenue. This helps us prioritize time, effort, and resources on high value SKUs, ensuring maximum ROI for our time, basically. So the high quantity and strategic SKUs, so approximately I would say even 5% of our SKU constitute around 90% of our total inventory quantity. So that's obviously we're going to treat those differently. We're also going to treat new launch SKUs, our partner brands that we're investing in the long term, different than brands that we're trying to liquidate or that we no longer have a long-term vested interest in. So that's something that we're going to treat differently. We have to do marketing for them. We have to do a listing review. So if we're listing, for example, a Nike item that we got in bulk, it's going to be treated differently than another item that we have a long-term vested interest in the brand. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, we have streamlined processes for liquidation and low quantity SKUs. So SKUs we're liquidating or holding in smaller quantities. We only have a few of the SKU. We got them in a lot. We got them. We're discontinuing a SKU. These are nearly 80% of our catalog is this case. We follow simplified automated processes. These items are typically not managed as closely and are prioritized lower to keep our focus obviously on the higher impact SKUs. This segmentation approach allows us to allocate resources efficiently, ensuring high value SKUs receive focused management, while lower priority items are handled in a streamlined manner. We also build our operations in a way that can handle flexibility to be able to manually overview a SKU when necessary, because we have bench resources either in our pricing program or even employees that can overtake a new brand or new account or new seasonal item that we have to oversee. By tailoring our processes, we achieve both strategic focus and operational efficiency across our catalog, at least as much as we can. The fifth and final point, and this is a big one that might be hidden, is factoring the type of business we're in into our key decisions. So managing a high SKU business requires a different skill set and different mindset than a lower SKU based business with high deep quantity. Instead of aiming to perfect each SKU and overseeing it, and especially, like, obviously we're doing that for our high impact SKUs I mentioned before, but we're not doing that for the entire catalog. And also it takes a different type of pricing programs. It takes a different type of stuff, and I'll get into that a little bit, by achieving essential quality standards across the board while strategically prioritizing high impact items. So understanding the required skill set, the highest SKU model demand requires diverse skills across different roles. So from data-driven inventory analysis to specialized product management, since you're looking at much more items, data becomes a key factor. Each team member's expertise contributes to managing quality and efficiency without getting bogged down in individual SKU. We take this into consideration when evaluating employees, tools, partners, everything. Is, let's say there's certain pricing programs that are tailored for a few SKUs, but there's then that are tailored for a larger catalog. And this is the case with everything, is you want to make sure we're choosing the right item that matches our type of business model and our type of business. And our learning that I mentioned earlier in the video is recently we encountered a big problem where we hired a director of finance and control that was used to basically managing lower SKU businesses. And when he came to a larger catalog, his entire mindset was different. He wanted to immediately look at SKUs differently. He wanted to add certain things. And even building the ERP system was a different challenge for him. Even in terms of pricing, he wanted to review each one manually. And it would take us weeks to go through things where we were neglecting a lot of important things. This highlighted the importance of finding team members with the right skills and the mindset to manage large volumes effectively, emphasizing sometimes the broadness rather than focusedness to make sure we get it overall right. Our overall inventory turnover is right, rather than having a few SKUs being amazing and the rest of our catalog being horrible. So that's a big thing. So by factoring in the unique demands of a high SKU based business model, we make more informed decisions that support both efficiency and growth, guiding our decision making on many crucial projects. So if you found value in this breakdown of how we manage 30,000 plus SKUs in our e-commerce business, you might want to watch the video where I talk about the process of selecting an ERP for our business. Whether you're looking to grow your own business or just getting started, these insights hopefully can be very applicable to you. And if you're tackling similar challenges challenges or have questions about scaling, drop a comment below. I'd love to see how you manage things or even help where I can. Thank you very much.